What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a quick video just showing you how to clearance your factory subframe on your CRX, your EF, or your JBtuned to clearance for some aftermarket headers. Now, of course, it's going to vary case by case because it depends on which header you're running, but the process is going to be all the same. So I've already gone ahead and I started before I started recording for the video and thought it would be a good idea. But to sum it up, the customer did not like the K-tune traction bar he was using, so he wanted to go back to the factory unit and have me notch and box it. So I don't know what type of headers these are to be exact, but you know, they're pretty wide, they're pretty beefy. So here I've already done a little bit of trimming off camera before the video started. So here I am just kind of test fitting, seeing where we're at progress wise and making any notes to any adjustments that need to be made. So that's basically what you're going to start with, is mock it up, see where you need to trim, make some Sharpie marks, and go ahead. And you can see this is what I've cut out so far. Now it looks like a pretty good chunk, and that's because it is, honestly, and we still need more. But again, that's just this case, and we're also in the meantime deleting that front mount because he does run Hasport mount, so you don't need that front torque mount. But you can see essentially what we've cut out. Here I've made some more marks and I've already started cutting away some of the material, and you'll see that here in a second how much more we take out. But you just kind of keep marking and keep trimming until you start getting somewhere. So this is what we're left with, and I've seen so many people cut stuff out and take material out like that, whether it's a lot or a little bit, and they don't box that back in. Now that is a huge safety issue and a huge issue with the suspension, because that front cross member is a huge component on these cars. It acts as a traction bar to an extent and absorbs some of the, you know, the wheel hop and keeps your wheel centered in the wheel well. So when you don't have, you know, it boxed in like we're doing, that is just a fatigue point. It can move, it can cause all sorts of bad issues. And if you say it doesn't, that's because you're foolish and you don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, here we are. Now I do have to clearance for the lower radiator hose on this case, because he is running a full-size radiator with mounts that we had to make for the lower ports because they were chopped off previously. Now I don't know why we have to notch for it. Sometimes you may, sometimes you may not. In this case we are. So here I am just making my marks, you know, tracing it out to then cut it out. So let's go ahead and cut it out. Just like that, we have clearance. Now this is what it's going to look like. Of course, we're going to be boxing this in too, because again, any structure, any metal you take out, you want to put it back. So here's another test fit just to make sure that we have enough room for everything, because the header, really, I just had to keep trimming back and back and back. As for the radiator hose and the clamp and stuff, you know, we had to make sure that fit as well. So test fit. Now this is the important part. Whether you're going to be TIG welding, MIG welding, or if you're just doing the Harbor Freight Hero and using a flux welder, you need clean metal. So make sure to get in there with a wire wheel, or, you know, an abrasive bandsaw, or a belt sander, whatever you want to call it, anything that can get you to fresh, clean metal. And here I am making templates to you know, cut out of my sheet metal. Now I like to use construction paper. A lot of guys use cardboard and that works decent, but I found that thick construction paper works 10 times better because it's so much easier to work with and you can get finer shapes. You don't have to worry about the frays of the cardboard or the soft spots. So, you know, here we have the middle, the left, and the right sections for that. Now here it is starting to be boxed in. We got it all tacked in. That little middle piece, we have it fully welded in, because I'm going to plate behind that. So here I am just going through, getting everything trimmed, getting everything cut to fit, and then we're going to go through and we're going to weld it all the way out. Giving it a final test fit here. This is to double check that nothing moved or shifted after I tacked in the plates for the coolant line area. So I also go in here and I reclock the lower hose clamp, because the way it was orientated was making me have to trim more out, and I didn't want to do that after I installed those plates. And mind you, I'm using 3/16 plate because it's nice and thick. It's going to give us a lot of strength and structure in here. But anyway, I'm going ahead and I'm MIG welding everything except for the top outside edges where the plates meet the subframe. I'm TIG welding that to give it a more flush, low profile look, and just because it looks nice. But everything else I just MIG weld it just to get it done, just to get it through, because we just want to burn it up and we want to stick it together. So it doesn't matter what you're using. Again, could be flux, as long as you're doing it this way, boxing things in, you should be okay. And here are the final welds on this piece. A looks pretty decent and gives us the clearance we need. And I do go through later and I patch up that hole up there just to keep moisture out, because there's normally a rubber plug in there, but obviously we infiltrated its area, so I can't really do that. Now at this point I've gone through and I've trimmed and I've tacked on the long plate, and I've clamped it to contour with the shape of the subframe, and I've gone ahead and I've made the templates for both sides of, you know, this box portion here. It's a little tricky because the subframe is pretty damaged, so I do have to do a bit of hammering to, you know, get everything to fit. And again, I MIG welded everything except for the outside edges where I TIG welded it all just to give it that cleaner look. And I've gone through here and now we're basically finished up. I mean, that's pretty much it at this point. Make sure that nothing has shifted, warped, or shrunk on you. So we do give it a final test fit. In this case, I had to actually kind of step on mine, smack it on the ground a little bit to give us the bolt hole distance that we needed, because it shrunk a little bit. But now it's test fit on the car, everything fits up, all the bolts are good. Now we can go through, lay some paint. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Hope you stick around and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a good one.